My name is Mike Alcock. I'm Managing Director of GoMo Learning. And here to talk to you this afternoon about how global organizations create and deliver e-learning at scale using the GoMo Learning suite. So if you don't know us, we hope we're the world's leading cloud-based responsive HTML5 e-learning authoring tool. We also offer integrated hosting and analytics and a native app capability. Our customers tend to be global organizations, and there's quite a few of them here today, which is great to see. You don't have to be. We have some entry-level pricing plans for small e-learning companies and so on, but GoMo really sort of talks to the needs of global organizations. We've got the usual set of awards, so Brandon Hall Gold, Craig Weiss, the world's most influential e-learning blogger, has us in the top 5 authoring tools in the world. We're a top 20 authoring tools company on training industry. And Fosway, Europe's leading independent HR analyst, have us as the leading core leader on their 9-grid for authoring systems, so top right of that diagram. We are part of a bigger group. We're part of Learning Technologies Group. There's a couple of other sister companies here today. So Net Dimensions and Leo, they're both over there somewhere. Leo's one of the world's biggest e-learning content producers. Net Dimensions is an LMS. And we're GoMo, obviously. We also own Rustasy, the people that look after XAPI and SCORM. And again, a lot of their technology makes its way into the GoMo Learning Suite. Sorry. So, talking to our global customers and ask them about the big challenges that they face when they're trying to create and deploy e-learning at scale, and how we hope we've addressed them with GoMo. So I'm going to go through these 8 challenges now. And the first one is collaboration. How can global development teams work together? If you're on a desktop tool, it makes collaboration very difficult. Courses tied to a particular PC. You know, if you've got hundreds of users, you've got to buy hundreds of licenses and install the software, and collaboration becomes very difficult. So the solution, we believe, is to work together in the cloud. GoMo is 100% cloud application. There is nothing to download, nothing to install. You log in through a web browser. It's browser agnostic. You can be working on a Mac or a PC, and you can immediately start working. And of course, you've got all of your resources safely stored in the cloud, your shared files, your themes, your graphics, your videos, your text, and everything else is all available to your teams. The next one our customers were talking about was the problems with getting design consistency. So there's a lot of powerful desktop tools out there which have got huge amounts of flexibility, and you can change anything. You can change the color of the font, you can change the background on every page, you can do all sorts of things. But with that flexibility becomes a lot of problems around design consistency. Because if you're going to roll an authoring tool out to subject matter experts, do you really want them worrying about what font should the titles be on my opening page of the course? And do you want them vandalizing your beautifully designed themes and house styles? So for people like PwC, who are rolling this out to hundreds of people around the world, we give them GoMo themes. And the beauty of themes is they can be locked down. And so when you give GoMo to a subject matter expert, they don't have to make design decisions on every page. They don't have to think about fonts and colors and point sizes. The themes control the look and feel of GoMo content, and the themes are separate from the courses. So once you've got your theme established, you can give GoMo to SMEs, and they can really roll it out very quickly. So we've done themes for people like Burberry on the left. The middle one is Nike. The next one along is United Healthcare, and the last one is Volvo. So most of our global customers have got a custom theme, and that allows them to get design consistency and constant branding out through all of their e-learning. Next big challenge, and I've been talking to a lot of people about this today. What happens when inevitably, as always happens, your company decides on a rebrand? A new logo, new corporate font, new color scheme, new background imagery, and so on. And in traditional desktop tools, that can be a huge challenge. I've been speaking to people about this today. If you've developed 100 courses in a desktop tool and you need to rebrand, you're probably going to have to open 100 courses. And you might have to open 100 pages inside 100 courses to go and change the font, or the color, or the background. With GoMo, because we're using themes, themes are separate from content, so you can be delivering content through themes, and if you need to rebrand 100 courses, all you've got to do is update the theme, and 100 courses will instantly pick up the new look and feel that you specify for your organization. Next challenge. There's a lot of powerful desktop tools out there, but they often take a lot of learning. Some of them, I know, are over 20 years old, so you can imagine how many menus, drop-downs, and options they've got after 20 years of product development. And is that really something you can roll out to subject matter experts and expect them to learn a really complicated, very in-depth tool with 1,001 options and drop-downs and menus and so on? So we've built in a load of usability features to try and make GoMo as easy to use as possible. Firstly, it's in a browser. You don't have to download, you don't have to install. You're going to be working literally within 5 minutes of having your GoMo account set up. And when you see GoMo, you have a drag and drop GUI interface to build your courses. So there's no programming required. You don't have to know anything about HTML5, CSS, JavaScript. It's literally like using PowerPoint to assemble your responsive HTML5 elements. Mentioned themes earlier on. They take care of the look and feel. So your subject matter experts can concentrate on what they're good at, putting content into the courses. They're not having to spend their lives worrying about how to design the pages. We've got a quick start wizard. 4 clicks and you've got a course built. So again, just takes the pain out of building your first course in GoMo. We've got Visual Course Manager. You can see what the course structure looks like. You can link all your topics together. Very visual way of building content. And we've also got screen templates. So for commonly used screen types like a multiple choice quiz or a video playback screen, 2 clicks and GoMo will assemble the 10 or 15 elements that might be needed to make that course, to make that page in your course. How about getting courses quickly and easily into an LMS? We're now delivering from GoMo hosting something like 250,000 course launches per month. So this bit of technology that I'm going to talk about here has really taken off with GoMo. So most authoring tools, they'll produce a course and you'll then have to create a zip file. You have to download or upload a SCORM zip file. It might be 200 megabytes, and then you've got to transport that to your LMS, and eventually it goes live in the LMS. And of course, the minute it goes live in the LMS, you get the phone call. That course you've just built, you've spelt something wrong on page 5, you've got the wrong video on page 10. You go back to your authoring tool, you repair that course, you produce another 200 megabyte zip file, you download it, you FTP, you upload it to the LMS, and 3 weeks later, your course might be live with the new updates in. So, what have we got? We've got something absolutely unique to GoMo. It's called the GoMo LMS wrapper. So in the hosting and analytics part of our product, we can generate a SCORM file off any SCORM course, and it doesn't matter how big the course is. It could be 200 megabytes, 500 megabytes. It really doesn't matter. The SCORM file itself that we send to the LMS will be 11 or 12 kilobytes. And you've got 3 major advantages there. Number 1, your initial upload to your LMS is tiny. You've gone from a 200 megabyte lump of content to an 11 kilobyte file. So that's going to go into your LMS instantly. Next, when you get that phone call that says that course you've just launched on the LMS, wrong video, spelling mistake, all you've got to do is update the course in GoMo. You don't have to re-zip, re-download, re-FTP, re-upload. The LMS wrapper is looking at the GoMo servers to get the video, audio, text, graphics, and the content that you're delivering to your learners. So you can overwrite the course in GoMo, and your LMS will instantly see the changes. The third nice benefit of this as well, we support dual tracking. So you're still going to get your SCORM reporting in your LMS, just as if this was a SCORM course from any other authoring tool, but in GoMo you get the XAPI analytics. So your LMS might tell you that Mike took a course yesterday, scored 75% in the quiz. In GoMo, you'll see that Mike took the course yesterday on his smartphone, scored 75%, and it was question 3 that he got wrong. So we're tracking individual page level interactions. I think I've already talked about this. So updating content when it's live. Again, the LMS wrapper allows you to update content when courses are live in an LMS. Clearly, if you're doing a huge raft of changes, it's probably going to be a different version of the course, but if it's just the minor updates, the quick text edits, the replacement of a video, the LMS wrapper allows you to update content that's live in an LMS. And a really good example of this, the LMS wrapper came after we'd done the authoring tool. So in the history of GoMo, we had the authoring tool, then we added on the hosting and the analytics. And I rang up Burberry, who are a big GoMo user, and said, guys, you've got to look at this LMS wrapper. I'm going to transform your lives. And they said, it's okay, Mike. We've got an LMS, go away sort of thing. And it took me about 6 months of phone calls. But eventually, I got into Burberry. I set up the demo, started showing them how it worked. And they were looking at the screen going, whoa, hang on. Are you updating a course that's inside our LMS inside 30 seconds? I said, yes, this is what I've been trying to tell you. They said, that takes us 3 weeks at the moment. It's a 3-week quarantine from getting a course out of their authoring tool into their LMS. So they've gone from 3 weeks to 30 seconds and virtually bit my hand off to get a hold on that technology. What about reaching learners via non-LMS routes? Excuse me. So this is the GoMo architecture. We've got the standard SCORM publishing on the authoring side. We've got the LMS wrapper for easily and instantly getting content into an LMS, but we also support non-LMS routes of delivery. What about if you don't need to go through your LMS? What if you just want to email a course to somebody, or stick it on Twitter, or Facebook, or LinkedIn, where all your millennials are? Well, we generate direct links off all our courses, so you can do that. What about if you wanted to stick a GoMo course on your website or your SharePoint portal? Again, we generate website embed codes so that you can drop your courses into any web page. What if you don't want a cohort to go through your LMS? A really good example of this was Jaguar Land Rover. Most of their content is delivered through their global LMS, but they came to us and said, we need to do some pre-induction. We want to find the best candidates for the job, and they haven't got Jaguar Land Rover email addresses. And we said, well, look, you're already paying for the hosting and analytics. You can set up GoMo Central. It's a mini learner portal. So they set up a Jaguar Land Rover branded GoMo Central. It took them about 10 minutes to set up the thing. They invited people to self-register with their Hotmail or Gmail accounts. So the users logged in, registered, took the courses, and Jaguar Land Rover were able to use the XAPI analytics to identify the top 10% of candidates that they then took to interview. So with all of those distribution options, you get our XAPI analytics. You get your dashboards, your device type analysis, and your individual questions and answers. And of course, I think we're seeing more and more now from our customers are saying that they're no longer going to allow people to create rectangles of content like PowerPoint slides, because this isn't really a very good learner experience. A postage stamp in the middle of a smartphone screen. If your website looked like that, you'd probably slack your webmaster or whoever built the website. We all expect our websites to be full screen on our phones, to be swooping up and down beautifully on them. And that's what we're seeing from our customers in the e-learning world. So for example, PwC, they're rolling out GoMo globally, and they've issued an edict that they will not create rectangles of content anymore. They have to build responsive content. Unfortunately for us, they chose GoMo as the tool to do it. So this is Jaguar Land Rover on an iPhone, and you can see it's a full screen experience. It's fluid scrolling when you're on there. And this is what PwC have now outlawed, a rectangle of content in the middle of the screen. And GoMo does this by creating responsive and adaptive HTML5 content. You build a course once in GoMo, it'll work on any device, any screen size, any orientation. So the player auto senses that you're on an iPhone 6, or you're on a Google Pixel 2, or you're on an iPad mini, and it adjusts the content completely automatically. Things like these interactive elements, they're adaptive HTML5. They will realize the learner's on a smartphone and readjust how the content's displayed for the best experience for the learner. So a couple of case studies to talk you through. So Santander, they deliver their retail products information globally with GoMo. They go out to something like 7,000 iPhones and 1,000 iPads, and again they needed content that worked properly on their devices. And using GoMo has allowed their team to work collaboratively and build hundreds of courses that they know are going to work properly when they hit their sales outlets, iPhones and iPads. EE, yeah, they use GoMo to train 25,000 learners. Is that me? Oh. No, okay. And EE, Apple were astounded because EE got the pre-sales information for the iPhone X or iPhone 10. Within 4 hours, they'd got the training out to every single retail store. They got it there before Apple had got it out there. So they put it into GoMo and they used hosting and analytics to broadcast it out to their retail outlet. And of course, what has every member of staff in an EE phone outlet? They've got one poor PC in the back office, but every single one of them's got a smartphone, and they were able to access the iPhone X training on 25,000 learners instantly. We can't produce enough content. Using GoMo to create our e-learning has transformed our organisation. That's Pinder Dillon, Head of Training Design at EE. One more case study to go. PwC, they went to the market to look for responsive authoring tools. So they said, okay, no more rectangles, we're going to be creating responsive authoring, and they actually hired a US industry analyst, I'm not supposed to say who, but you can probably guess because there aren't too many of them, to sort of do a secret shopping exercise and review all of the responsive authoring tools on the market. Took them about 18 months, and finally PwC owned up and said it's actually, they're looking on our behalf. They shortlisted down to 2, and they chose GoMo as their e-learning tool of choice. So a year's proof of concept, they've now rolled it out to, it's now actually reaching 18 territories and over 160 authors, and they're able to roll GoMo out to a new country in less than a week and have their authors up and running. And again, they've got a beautiful PwC branded theme, so they can give it to subject matter experts and they can be off and running and creating content instantly. So I'm not going to dive into a full demo now because you can see all of that over at our stand. So if you haven't found us yet, we're just as you come through the door from the catering hall out there. Myself and my colleagues, we're all wearing GoMo branded items. I'd be delighted to see you over there and give you a full demo of GoMo at your convenience. Thank you very much. Thank you.